Hello everyone. It's really good to see you all in this new lecture on Indian knowledge system. The Indian knowledge system refers to the vast indigenous body of knowledge developed in India over thousands of years and is rooted in the philosophy, culture, sciences, arts, and lived practices. It is holistic, interdisciplinary, and value oriented, integrating material, intellectual, ethical, and spiritual dimensions of life. I guess is not limited to ancient text. It is also included in the oral traditions, community practices, and experiential wisdom passed across generations. The major areas that are covered in IKS includes philosophy and ethics, science and technology, medicine and health, management and governance, education, economic and sustainability, art and culture, and so on. Now, why is it important to know about the Indian knowledge system? One is it gives us a cultural and intellectual self awareness. It provides value based education and ethical grounding. And it also provides relevance to modern challenges. It helps in indigenous management and leadership perspectives. Also, holistic personality development is also one important uh, factor why we should learn about the Indian knowledge system. So, the Indian knowledge system is important because it helps us learn how to live, work, and lead ethically and sustainably, not just how to earn or compete. So, in this online lecture, we will be discussing more about Indian ethos and management, which gives you an insight on the management perspectives from the Indian knowledge system. Let us move into the details through five modules, which covers various aspects of Indian knowledge system or Indian ethos and management, with learnings from the scriptures, management lessons that we learn from the scriptures, the Indian concept of business ethics, the Indian concept of leadership, and so on. In this video, we will be talking more about the meaning and concept of Indian ethos, in which we will be discussing about two important concepts. The first one is the Atman concept, and is the second one is the holistic approach. Let's look into the details. Let's first of all see the meaning of Indian ethos. Indian ethos refers to the application of India's ancient philosophical wisdom drawn from the Vedas, Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and Puranas to contemporary organizational and managerial practices. As we know that we are all accustomed to the managerial practices as given by the Western world, we speak about the scientific management principles as given by F.W. Taylor, or we also talk about the 14 principles of management as given by Henry Fayol. But even before that, our own texts or our own scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads or the Vedas have given a lot of information about the management lessons. It emphasizes on value-based leadership, ethical decision making, harmony between individual, organization, and society. We know all these things are very important in today's realm. So Indian ethos does not actually reject modern management philosophies, but rather it enriches the modern concepts with moral and spiritual consciousness. So Indian ethos is not anti-modern, rather it enriches the contemporary management with values. The core philosophical foundation is called as the Atman or the self. Like for example, if a manager can manage himself, or if the manager can manage the self, then he can manage the team. So the core concept of the Indian ethos in management is your ability as a manager to manage yourself. That is called as the Atman. So the Indian philosophy Atman refers to your inner self or your soul. The Indian ethos begins with the belief that effective management starts by managing oneself, or it's the self management which is very important. The Bhagavad Gita says that one who has conquered the mind is a friend to oneself, one who has not is an enemy to oneself. The managerial implication of this is that a manager who can control his emotions, his ego, his stress can Definitely be a person who can lead calmly under pressure, because we know that the environment in which you work is full of stress, full of pressure. But if you are a person who can handle it very well, then definitely you can lead. You can be the person who can lead your team in a very efficient manner. And when you can control your own emotions, when you are calm and patient, and when you are composed in an event of stress, and you are able to come out with right decision at the right time, then it will help you in building your trust with the team. And definitely you will be able to take ethical decisions. So the self discipline precedes the team discipline according to the Atman concept. The second concept of the Indian philosophy is the holistic approach to management. So the Indian ethos adopts holistic view of the human being, recognizing that employees are not mere resources, as we see in the modern philosophy, where employees, we consider employees as the asset. We call them as a human resources. They are the resources of the organization. But in this Indian concept, it says that human beings are individual self, and not rather the resources or the economic resources, but they are individuals who think, who feel, and who have ethical values. So the key idea is long-term organizational success will depend on seeing people as individuals who are focusing on their inner well-being, which leads to their outer performance. We know that when an employee is happy, the ultimate aim of any person is to be happy. So, for a person to be happy, it is not just the material things, but you have to be happy from within. So, only when a person is uh, satisfied, or only when a person is in his state of happiness, then only he will be able to produce good results, or the productivity will be maximum. So the difference between the Indian management and the Indian ethos in the perspectives are: the first one is when the Western management perspectives focus on objective reality, like the targets, the data, the profits. Indian ethos focuses on subjective reality, like the values, the inner self, the motivation, and so on. Employees are treated as resources in the Western philosophy, whereas employees are treated as individuals or human beings. Whereas in the case of Western philosophy, material success is most important, but Indian philosophy focuses on balanced, uh, uh, success, of balanced individual success, which includes spirituality also. Now, what is the relevance of this in the modern workplace? We know that our workplace is full of stress, ethical failures, and employee burnout. Whereas, by including, or the Indian ethos offers solutions to these by promoting emotional balance, integrity in leadership, and meaningful work and purpose. So the organization that integrates the Indian ethos will often be able to witness high employee commitment. The employees oneness, as we call in the modern terms, that employee feels one with the organization. It leads to increased employee commitment, which reduces the conflict between the organization and the employees, and it leads to sustainable growth of the organization. While the Western management asks, what should we do? Indian ethos asks, what kind of a person should we become? This philosophical shift forms the basis, the foundation for ethical leadership and sustainable management practices. Thank you. And here we end the first session. I hope you are able to understand the concept, the meaning and concept of Indian ethos and management. We'll be seeing you in the next video soon.